Good. Off we go. So welcome to the second session. And today we'll talk about motivation, intention. I'll explain how critical it is and how unaware we are, what we do in life, and how we act and don't understand if it's the correct motivation or what the motivation behind is. But before we start, I invite you, because these are very heavy topics, very different for our mind and our entire being. So I invite you to close your eyes for just a couple of minutes, to drop into the present moment, because we constantly are either in the past or in the future. And we never know and hear when the life happens, when the energy is unlocked, where we create the reality, because everything that happens comes from the past. It was already planted in the past. And let's just for a minute, close your eyes. Don't look at me. And just relax your face, relax your body, let your jaw relax, now unclench. Straight back is always awesome. Just take a couple of breaths. Don't think that we're on TV, we're on Zoom, we're doing a difficult class, just it's you. And a couple of breaths in and out. Just to calm down. And envision that your mind is sort of split into two, your consciousness. There is a smaller part and the bigger part. And the smaller part is like a watcher. It just observes. It doesn't engage in mind chatter. And that watcher just appoint that part of your mind to observe your thoughts, to see what's going on in your mind. What type of thoughts are going through you? Are they about the past, the present, the future? Don't follow them, just observe. The mind is always playing some sort of a recording. And our problem is we chase the recording. Are you planning for something that's going to happen later? Are you anxious about something that you have to do, to be, to go? You're rehashing something that you have done. And now just create a transparent wall. You can see through it. It's like a crystal wall, and put it in front of you. Fence off all the thoughts about the future. And now see that there are no thoughts about the future any longer. Now create another wall. It's transparent. It's nothing bad. Put it behind you. And that will separate all your thoughts about the past. All your worries, all your hurts, all your anxieties. So there's nothing going on about the past any longer, and just stay for a minute or two in that vacuum of present. So the past will release its negative grip on you, and your plans for the future will become much clearer. and you'll be more focused, more collected. Now you can open your eyes and come back to us, and let's continue to Program 2021 for success. So we talked about a lot of different things, but predominantly I gave you the framework, and I recognize how loaded it is, how much it is to swallow and process at a time. And what is the most important thing, we talked about the pan, we talked about the reality, we talked about how everything is a pan, and how three different realities or more can exist simultaneously at the same time. There's dog's reality, there is Ant's reality, there is our reality, and it's an interesting concept. And the problem is, or the opportunity is, that we can't choose it. We can't choose to see a diamond instead of the pan. And we can't, and the dog cannot choose the pan, or the ant choose the pan other than the mountain. We're forced to see what we see. So relationship, no relationship, money, no money, paying clients, not paying clients, good house, shabby shack somewhere. So we're forced to see and experience what we do, what we have. And but we also know the upside. We know that it comes from me. I'm the projector. So if I projected what I projected, maybe there is a chance to change the picture. And and that's what we discussed a little bit. And I'm just shedding a little bit more light and giving it a little bit more color so that you understand. But Sigmund Freud said that we only experience 10% of reality. We only experience 10%. 10% is only visible to us. 90% is hidden in our unconscious. It's an iceberg. And that's that field that we create, that this mind creates, recording everything we do, think, or say 24/7. This is not a thinking device. This is a recording device. And it doesn't matter if somebody's around or not. It doesn't matter if you do something in the privacy of your own house or the bathroom. It doesn't matter at all. This is a recorder. It records everything. And so the crux of all of this is, how do you change what you do? How do you change how you act? Because a lot of what we do is automatic. We have these automatic programs that we adopted, including the intention motivation. And but the recording device records 65 frames a second. That's why we have smell-o-vision, we have emotions, we have feelings, we have all sense perception. If you compare it to the TV has 25 frames a second. This device that has not been matched by any quantum computer records 65 frames a second. It's a lot. That's why it's so real, and we buy into it. We believe this movie that comes from the past, and we argue with the TV. So if the TV is a husband, or we just argue with the TV, not realizing that it's just a movie playing. There are seeds, mental seeds, images, frames recorded. And there is a wise mechanism that makes it pop, and show me what I see at any given point of time. And because the seeds multiply, and these mental seeds multiply double every day, every 24 hours. So that's why from a small watermelon seed, you get a huge watermelon. Um, from a potato seed or a little acorn, you get a whole oak tree because the seeds multiply, they grow. Now, you say, what do you do with all this? It's all good stuff. What do you do with this? It's so I want you to first understand that there are rules about these causes and effects, about the movie. The movie is very logical. Um, the result always resembles the cause. So you can't plant a lemon seed and have potatoes. You can't plant tomato seed and have tomatoes or acorn. So the result will always be the same of what has been planted. Um, the second rule is you cannot change it now, in the present moment. If somebody tells you that you can do voodoo shmoodoo and whatnot, and you can change something, I don't know, somebody is sick or something is happening, you cannot change it in the present moment. It is the echo, it's the message from the past, and you just have to accept and receive it. You mailed it. And you just have, your control is how you respond to it. So when somebody is yelling at you, it's really your own message, and they are just the mailman. So if you start yelling at the mailman, you just send another mail right after that one. It will come later and also will be yelling. So your control, your power is in understanding how it all created, how it all happened, and react differently, respond differently to your mind's movie. The way that you want that movie to play tomorrow, but you can't change it in the moment. You can't change your response and reaction to it. And the third rule is, if there is no cause, there won't be a result. And the fourth rule, if there is a cause, there will be a result. There will be a result. And these are just laws of the universe, and I didn't make them up. So, so still logical, still pretty clear, still pretty clear. Now, let's jump into the slides, because I did prepare them. And let's talk about what, that was just a recap, and let's talk about what I said we will be discussing. And we'll be doing a motivation tune-up. So we quickly did a refresh just to bring you back into the, and now let's talk about, we'll talk about essence of reality. What is in that mental seed? What is the gist of it? What is the biggest thing that you can change? And that is motivation or intention of why we're doing it. And then we'll talk about what gets us in trouble and what gets us in the goodness. And now, motivation or intention, it's a genome. It's the essence. Sorry. It is the essence of the seed that produces our reality. It is the essence of our future. It is that powerful. 90% of the mind movie, 90% of any seed is motivation, is the original intention behind what we've done. And I'm just looking at who's here. Welcome, welcome everybody. So motivation is the energy. It is the energy embedded in any action that we do. Action by itself is empty. 90% is motivation, and motivation, it's the reason or reason behind any behavior. It is the source of all of our desires. And it is basically what turns us on. That's motivation. And there are three pitfalls. There are three fallacies. We don't understand why we do what we do. We really don't. And I'll give you an exercise at the end of the session to kind of dig into it. We mistake our motivations. They're so deep in our unconsciousness that we are not even realize what it is. So for instance, I cook something, right? I don't need to cook. If I start peeling why I cook, for instance, something today when we have full fridge and nobody wants to eat it anyway, there might be something like a fear of disapproval that you need to show activity to your husband, to your mom. I live with my mom, I live with my husband. So I have a lot of mirrors. When you start thinking and peeling this off, you'll know the real reason why you do it, what drives you. And usually our motivation is formed in childhood. So just to bring a little bit more color, when I was a child, my parents didn't praise me. My mom is very stern. She's extremely warm to everybody, but she was training me to drop the motivation of praise, of gratitude, and never thank you, never good girl. And I, all my life, when I started thinking about it, it was about being a good girl, getting that recognition, that praise. And the reason your parents will never give you this, because they are your best trainers, they're the best allies. They will never give you what you need to drop in yourself. And if you go into your childhood, there probably will be a vivid memory of something. So I'll give you an example of mine so that you can play it back and make it visual for yourself. I was coming, my mom was coming, I was coming back from school. I was probably 6, maybe 7. And I was in the first grade, and I got a grade A in something non-consequential, like music or art, something that I like. And I meet my mom coming home, and I said, Mom, I'm so happy. I got an A in music, and da-da-da, and da-da-da. And my mom said something like, what about math? what about, I don't know, Ukrainian, math? There was no happiness, there was no joy in her. And she literally squashed me. She's like, go home, do homework. And she went on with her life. I remembered it. So that triggered or showed me the biggest motivation that I have in life. And if you regress a little bit into your childhood, you probably have this hurt or some sort of an emotion that is baked into it. And that emotion covers your biggest motivation in life. So that was just an example, so you can relate to it. So 3 reasons we don't understand why we do what we do. We mistake our motivations. We think we're doing something out of the goodness, out of this. It's a mistaken reality. We mistake real reasons behind because they're deeply hidden in our unconscious. Or we do something for wrong reasons because we were taught to do what is right. And let's go to what we were taught to do what is right. Money is number one. Money or material goods and possessions. Anything that you can hold on to, all the goodies. I lived on Wall Street for 20 plus years, and I know how that world works, banking, the um, and how we get into trouble. You know, I work, for instance, for Smith Barney and private banking, who developed grids, payment grids for advisors for different products, and we motivated them. That's the biggest carrot that you dangle in the financial services industry. That's how we get into crisis of 2008 and others. Uh, we sell any cacamania as long as we're paid for it. So money, if we command our wealth, we shall be rich and free. If wealth commands us, we're poor indeed. Edmund Burke. So, and that's in the Western world is the strongest motivator. And we break laws, we violate ethics, we get into all sorts of trouble. And usually, any motivation is dual. It's either to get more off or avoid losing. So it's usually two-sided. More material goods or withdraw it. So we motivated, our actions are motivated not to give money, to hold on to money or goods or whatever material stuff that we have. And we either spend money or we don't spend money. Avoid spending money at all cost. Buy certain things that we potentially need. So it's positively and negatively motivates us. It's the same coin, it's the same carrot, depending what side you look at it. We don't pay taxes, for example. We think we're going to have more money if we don't pay taxes. We do not understand where money comes from. Money comes from giving, generosity, and we don't declare profits. We take harmful actions just to show better. We squeeze the bottom line out of everybody, suppliers, producers, customers. Um, I'm guilty of bargain hunting. It's the same thing. It's an American sport, and you think it's the best thing to do. You really do. It's so ingrained. We program it. It's part of the DNA. Bargain hunting. I would not buy full price anything, and I'm still guilty of it. I'm still working on it. It's very deep. And we don't give, hard to give to charities, for instance, different causes. If I give, I won't have enough. Squander. So for instance, at work, everything that is in the company was mine. And, from staples to pens to paper, I would take it home. So that's pure stealing. Anything you gain at the expense of other, you're losing. And that's just a law. And we don't understand it. We don't know where money comes from. And this course is just a little bit deeper than all the other courses that will teach you how to go get money. This goes into the unconscious mind. So we don't connect the two. When we get fines, we get tickets, we have assessments, we have something stolen from us. When people don't pay you for services, when they always bargain with you, they want it for free or for nothing. We don't connect how we act at all. It's just one reality and that's the other reality, and they're disconnected. And the genome of it is our actions are motivated either by retaining or gaining money at the expense of others, and not understanding what the real cause of wealth is in financial well-being. Money, money, money. Now, this is another big one, beautiful one. Like, the greatest pleasures are only narrowly separated from disgust. The body is programmed to go from pleasure to pain, pleasure, pain, and we just go back and forth. I'm the one that does that yo-yo for years, dieting, eating, dieting. So and many of us are, because we gain weight, we become addicted, get all sorts of trouble driven by desire to have something, to experience certain pleasure. Um, you know, we know all the marriages get broken from it, the relationships suffer because we're just motivated by desires, but we also avoid difficult conversations because it's not pleasant and it might help us, ours. Uh, I might not give you this course because it's hard to teach this course on some level. I'm living these motivations as well. But we don't do hard work. We don't go to gym. We don't exercise. We don't jog. We don't do yoga. We don't like it. We don't like it. It's not pleasant. And you know what? We never come out of the comfort zone. Never solicit feedback from others because it's not pleasant. So we're so afraid to be disliked, to do something that is true in your heart because we will be disliked. Internet of Things, I don't even have to tell you how much it is built on like and dislike. I have thumbs up, thumbs down as a picture. It's the entire social media frenzy. It's about a sensation of being liked, and teenagers are sucked into this world of fictitious likings, and they suffer from dislikings, fictitious dislikings. So shopaholism, gaming, get everything you like. So this is the motivation that's behind it. It is pleasure, being motivated by something that we either like or avoid something that we dislike. This is a big one. This is a big one. This was a big one for me. People work for money, but go the extra mile for recognition, praise, and rewards. It's a little bit wider than that, but status. When you blow your own fan and attain your own grandiosity, oh my goodness, in the West, in the Western world, it is the epidemic. I lived in New York City, consumed by status. And I would buy an apartment and only Manhattan. And I would get into debt that I couldn't meet the ends on a months-to-day basis, but I had to be in Manhattan because Manhattan is status. And people get into debt, they follow the Joneses. We get into the wrong profession, we don't listen to ourselves. We become lawyers, doctors, and who knows what, because it pays more money, it's more status. Politics is a huge one there. And status constantly demands that we put ourselves higher, above. Don't give credit to people who deserve credit. You constantly self establish at the expense of others because you have to prop up your status. You have to diminish others. You're the only one who could be acknowledged, and here the fear of trying something new is enormous because it's not just being liked or disliked. It is being knocked off your some sort of pedestal. How difficult it is to change careers when you are in something, you are invested, you build the status, you went and you got your I don't know, I got an MBA in international finance. So a lot goes into building up and fortifying something. And um, it's very hard to change it because you don't want to compromise the status. What do people say? What people will say? What would they think? Oh my good Lord. And it's titles. Oh God, I told you in the first video how I chased the title, the VP title. It was all about status. I just needed this label. Oh my goodness. So any kind of recognition, any kind of political power, any kind of authority. And I love this quote from Lao Tzu. He is the Taoist teacher, all 2,000 years old. You might have heard of him, but I like the quote. And the part of this says, these include titles, social recognition, status, and political power, all wrapped up in a package called self-fulfillment. Attracted by these prizes and goaded by social pressure, people spend their short lives, tiring body and mind, to chase after these goals. Perhaps this gives them the feeling that they have achieved something in their lives, but in reality, they have sacrificed a lot in life. They can no longer see, hear, act, feel, or think from their hearts. Everything they do is dictated by whether it can get them social gains. In the end, they have spent their lives following other people's demands and never lived a life of their own. How different is this from the life of a slave or a prisoner? This is the man 2,000 years ago. But you know what? Nobody talks about it. But 90% of us feel this very acutely, particularly when you get old and it's hard to start over. They feel this remorse of living somebody else's life, and uh, and and the weight of fear to change it. We feel that all of our lives, this fear is heavy, and this is because we just embrace the motivation of um, living some other's life, follow somebody else's path, thinking that that's important. Attaining status and position is important in life. It's not. It is not. I hope this all resonates so far. I don't want to sound like a recording. Hopefully it resonates. Here's the big one: gratitude or praise. And I told you a little bit about the praise, about in my story. Um, it is also very big in the charitable world, because a lot of people do something in charity, for instance, when they don't have a genuine concern, but they need to be clapped, they need to be thanked, they need to be flowered, they need to be blown and kissed, and they can't give it to themselves. It's part of the self-love that we oftentimes cannot do, and it's a mistaken motivation, and a lot of people are drawn to it, especially if they have resources. Or a good one, when you do good, this is my story, when you do good to others and they never thank you, they don't say, I would chase you and do good to you, especially for my family, my sister, my brother, um, force goodness onto somebody. Here, I know what you mean, I know better. And they never thank you. So this is an indicator. Why the heck you doing what you're doing? Sit down and reconsider who asks you to be a world charity giver, whether they need it or not. This is the motivation that drives you. Um, Praise is warming and desirable, what the human race lives on like bread, but praise is an earned thing. Um, yes, doing something anonymously, or charity or not, um, just because you care, it's good to try and do it anonymously to see if you still like doing what you're doing. If it still warms your heart and it's really a true motivation. Um, because the mind will always pull you. It's the job of the mind. It will always lead you into some hallways and corridors. And the truth lies in the heart, but it's so hard for us to drop in the heart and think with the heart because the heart is guarded. There are like Chinese walls around it. It's so hard to come to the heart and drop into it. Um, so, but basically you can see how our thoughts, emotions, and actions, they are primary source of our own suffering, but they are also a primary sources of our happiness. It could be flipped. And when you have a conscious motivation, it is the first step in any transformation, creating the 2021 or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. I hope you live for 150 years or more. It is the first step when your intention are conscious, because this is the energy that goes into the movie. Energy, it's an emotion. It's an emotion that put everything in motion in the universe. And whatever you put, you'll get. Whatever you put, you'll get. So when you fine tune that, you'll start creating a different reality. And the first step is examining your day. So I would really encourage you to sit down and write down everything you do from morning till night, from getting up, brushing teeth, and really write down, why do you do this? I don't know, walking the dog, um, and just catch yourself before you put an action. Uh, think, why are you doing this? And if you still want to do the action, I'm not telling you don't do anything, just correct the motivation. And I'll show you how to think about motivation differently. But first, see what drives you, what's your predominant engine, because that will give you 90% of the answers how to change yourself. When you catch what is your biggest driving force, literally, nobody's there to correct, to check you. You can be honest with yourself. Sit down and go, uh, Lena, or Kim, or Natasha, or Magdalena, why am I doing this? No, really, why I'm doing this? Beyond this nonsense of I was told, I know this is the right thing to do. Go deeper, go deeper. Um, Nobody's going to check you. Nobody's going to give you a bad grade. Nobody's going to slap you around or embarrass you. It is you and you. And the other the other tip, when you are doing something and you are out of energy, you are like exhausted. This is incorrect motivation that is exhausting you. So this something that you need to reconsider. So as soon as you are tired, out of energy, and you might be doing good stuff, you think, um, so whenever you have a discomfort of any kind, mental, physical, emotional, it is because your motivation is not true, correct, according to the law of the universe. Human made, money, praise, whatever. We humans come up with all sorts of stuff. Um, Now, so that was the tip. What is our successful motivations? Let's talk about this. So now that we know everything is empty, everything comes from me, first level, these are levels, and it takes time to get there. It takes study to go deep in this. It doesn't happen overnight. Right now, we're just planting good seeds, and you are awesome people. You wouldn't be listening to this if you were not awesome, awesome people. You've done a lot of good in your life. So this is an acknowledgement. This is not for everybody. There are only a couple of us listening. So you good people. And so if I create everything, if everything is a pen, if the reality comes from me, the first thing I want to do is stop suffering. Stop giving me what causes me suffering. I just don't want to suffer. Maybe I don't want Joe Schmo to get something good from me, but if I give bad, that's what I'm going to get. The watermelon doesn't grow from a lemon seed. There are laws that rule this universe. The universe is extremely orderly. There is nothing out of balance, nothing, not even in an iota. Everything is balanced, and this is the balancing laws, the cause and effect. This is what balances our free will. And even if I don't want them to whatever, even if I feel bad or angry or whatnot, even if I don't understand that he or she is the messenger, I want to stop my own suffering. I don't want to do this over and over and over. So it comes back to me over and over. And that is the first level of motivation. It's low. It is low on the scale of it's low on the scale. Listen, but it is better than it was before. It is much better than it was before. I don't want to suffer. I want to live a happy life. When you play with that a little bit more, you start cleaning up your seeds, and some goodness is planted there because you're doing something that is better for you towards the others, because everything you do towards the other, you do towards yourself. So the second level, you want others not suffer. Maybe not everybody, but the majority of people, you don't want them to experience suffering. And you are motivated by giving good of yourself, for yourself, but also for others. And and that is a wonderful level. And then the last one, it's a high level. And in simple English, it let all prosper and be happy. Tibetans say something very profound. They say that everybody is your mother. Everybody, at some point in your lives. And I ascribe to the notion that we don't live just one life. The life doesn't end in one life. We're souls, and souls are eternal. We just animated in this particular human body. But we've been around the block many, many, many times. That's why we come with some baggage. And Tibetans say that everybody at one point of time were your mothers. Magdalena, Kim, Natasha, we all were each other's mothers. And so you want to do good by your mother. You want everybody, even your dogs, because you've been dogs too. We've been dogs too. And my dog is only the dog. She's so pretty, but she just fell off somewhere, maybe too much anger. And it takes nothing for us to become a dog, really, or an ant in a split second. Do not bet. So it's a gift to be born a human. And if you think that everybody is your mother, um, they breastfed you, changed your diapers, and sacrificed life to give you life. It's very dangerous to deliver a child. Those who mothers know that. Um, if you see the world as everybody's your mother, you treat the world differently. And that is the highest level of motivation. You want to help everybody, not just solve your own suffering. So, and this is how the spiritual evolution starts. Spiritual transformation starts when you start planting these seeds in your mind. And this is all I had for you on this Saturday afternoon. Let me see how we're doing on time. We're doing on time perfect. So hopefully I planted something good in your hearts with this motivation conversation. Hopefully you're thinking about your goals. It takes time. Don't rush into it. So and then you're thinking about partners. Next time I will talk about partners. I'll give you power partners. I'll give you some tips into this. But at this stage, just um, analyze yourself a little bit better. Analyze this unconscious cacomania that goes behind, and we just play it like puppets. Look into your motivation. Remember that it's 90% of your reality. This is what the genome of the seed is. And thank you again for joining me. I'll send you another invite for next Tuesday, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. If I would stop the recording.